Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone. Greetings to all presenters and participants of the Information System International Conference 2025. My name is Siti Zulfanur Rahma and I am honored to present our paper at ISICO 2025 titled Gamification for Cybersecurity Education, Training, and Awareness, Use, Design, and Further Directions. This study was conducted together with my co-authors, Ms. Puspita Kanchanasari and Mr. Chandiwan. The paper begins with the introductions, followed by the research methodology. Then we present the results and discussion, introduce the conceptual model, and conclude with key findings and directions for future research. Human error and a lack of cybersecurity awareness remain major contributors to security vulnerabilities. This is especially critical as cyber threats continue to rise, targeting individuals and organizations alike. Unfortunately, traditional educational methods often fail to engage learners or effectively convey complex cybersecurity concepts. In response, gamification has emerged as a promising approach. By integrating game elements such as narratives, levels, and challenges into educational content, gamification can improve motivation, engagement, and knowledge retention. Prior studies, including those by Quinn-Hure and Rahayu and Russo, have shown positive outcomes from gamified cybersecurity programs, including increased awareness and behavioral change. However, despite these benefits, little is known about which game elements are most commonly used and how they are applied across different contexts. To address this gap, our study conducts a bibliometric analysis of 61 publications from the past decade to identify trends, explore gamification design in cybersecurity, and propose a conceptual model for future research. The methodology of this study follows Kitchenham's guidelines for review process, which include 3 phases such as planning the review, conducting the review, and reporting the study. In the planning phase, we define the research goal to comprehensively analyze existing literature on the use of gamification in cybersecurity education, training, and awareness. We also formulate 2 research questions. The first asks what are the trends in gamification research within cybersecurity over the past decade, and the second asks which game elements are most frequently used in cybersecurity education and training. To guide the review process, we developed a research protocol. We used the Scopus database and limited our scope to English language publications from 2015 to 2024. The search terms included variations of gamification combined with cybersecurity-related terms such as awareness, education, and training. We also applied specific inclusion criteria. Studies were included if they contained the search terms in the title, abstract, or keywords, explicitly focused on gamification in cybersecurity education or training, and described the game elements used in the context. In the next phase, we conducted the review by applying the protocol outlined in layer. The search was carried out using the Scopus database, which was chosen for its broad coverage of peer-reviewed literature, including sources like IEEE, Springer, ACM, and Emerald. Our initial search returned 207 results. We began by removing duplicate studies based on their titles, which left us with 199 entries. In the first stage of screening, we reviewed the titles, keywords, and abstract to assess relevance. As a result, 80 studies were retained. In the second stage, we performed a full text review to ensure each paper met the inclusion criteria. This process excluded 19 studies that were either inaccessible or did not focus on our research question. Finally, 61 studies were included for bibliometric analysis. The overall process is illustrated in the review flow diagram shown in this slide. We begin the results section by looking at the publication trend over the past 10 years. As shown in the graph, there has been a fluctuating but generally increasing number of studies on gamification in cybersecurity education, training, and awareness from 2015 to 2024. Our data shows that the number of studies on gamification in cybersecurity education, training, and awareness started to emerge in 2015. This was followed by a modest increase in 2017 and 2018. A more significant rise occurred in 2021 with 12 publications recorded, and the highest peak was observed in 2023 with a total of 16 of publications in that year alone. Overall, this fluctuating but upward trend suggests growing academic interest in applying gamification to cybersecurity contexts, particularly as organizations seek more engaging and effective ways to improve awareness and training outcomes. To gain a deeper understanding of research trends in this domain, I will explain the result of our keyword concurrence analysis using FastViewer. From 103 keywords identified across 61 studies, we selected 45 keywords that appeared at least 5 times. These were then grouped into 5 distinct clusters. Let me walk you through the cluster briefly. The first cluster, shown in red, focuses on awareness-oriented gamification. Keywords like gamification, cybersecurity awareness, engagement, and motivation frequently appeared here. This cluster highlights the use of gamification to raise awareness and influence security behavior, especially in organizational contexts. And the second cluster, in green, is about skill development and experiential learning. It includes terms like challenge, experience, CTF, and learning process. The third cluster, colored blue, centers on student-focused education and training. Keywords such as student, platform, training, and competition show that gamification is widely used to engage learners. often through competitive settings like cyber range. The fourth cluster in yellow emphasizes instructional development and engagement. Terms like development, teaching, and student engagement reflect the pedagogical aspect of gamified cybersecurity education. And the last, the fifth cluster, shown in purple, highlights the game design and effectiveness dimension. With keywords like game, serious games, and effectiveness, this cluster reflects the evaluation of gamified tools in enhancing learning outcomes. This slide presents the results of our analysis related to the second research question. We adopted the classification of gamification elements from studies by Scopus, which provide a comprehensive framework for analyzing game components across prior studies. Among the 61 studies we reviewed, 15 distinct game elements were identified. As shown in this slide, the most frequently used ones are narratives, levels, challenges, points, and tasks. Besides those five, other elements like leaderboards, feedback, rewards, and competition were also widely used and contribute to learner motivation and engagement. For a complete overview of all 15 elements, including their definitions, implementations, and number of occurrences, you can refer to the table 3 in our paper. Now, I will discuss the findings related to our first research question, which focused on identifying research trends in the use of gamification for cybersecurity education, training, and awareness over the past 10 years. As shown in the previous slide, we found a rising trend in publication volume from 2015 to 2024, with a noticeable peak occurring in 2023, which recorded the highest number of studies. A significant spike in publications can be observed between 2020 and 2023, which aligns with the COVID-19 pandemic. During this period, many learning activities shifted to digital platforms, prompting increased interest in gamified approaches as an engaging alternative for cybersecurity education. The result of the keyword co-occurrence analysis further support this trend. As I explained earlier, the cluster revealed a diverse research focus. This diversity reflects a growing academic recognition of gamification not just as a motivational tool, but also as a pedagogical strategy that can improve learning outcomes in cybersecurity education and training contexts. In short, the first research question confirms that gamification is becoming an increasingly relevant and strategic approach in the cybersecurity education landscape, especially in the digital and post-pandemic era. Let's move on to the second research question, which explores the game elements most commonly used in cybersecurity education and training programs. Our findings indicate that narratives, levels, and challenges are the most frequently utilized elements across the reviewed studies. The first one is narratives or storytelling, help foster emotional connection and engagement by embedding abstract cybersecurity concepts into real-life scenarios. The second one is levels, provide a structured progression mechanism that allows adaptive learning. The studies by allotment emphasize that this structure helps maintain engagement by adjusting difficulty based on learners' performance. And the third one is challenges, act as goal-oriented tasks that encourage active participation and problem solving, especially when combined with rewards such as points or badges. These findings are further reinforced by our keyword cluster analysis, particularly in cluster 1, which includes terms like element, motivation, and engagement, highlighting their relevance in shaping cybersecurity learning outcomes. Also, the empirical studies support these observations. For instance, a study by Beresford demonstrated that combining storytelling, point system, levels, and badges improved students' understanding of secure coding practice. These insights show that the strategic selection and combination of game elements is critical in designing effective gamified interventions for cybersecurity education. Given the emerging trends we identified in the literature, especially the increasing use of gamification to influence user behavior, we recognize the need for a theoretical framework that could explain how gamified intervention impacts cybersecurity awareness. In this context, the folk behavior model, or FBM, stood out as a valuable foundation for our conceptual model. FBM was originally developed in persuasive design, and it explains behavior change as the intersection of three key factors such as motivation, ability, and triggers. According to the FBM, a behavior such as adopting secure digital habits will only occur if these three factors are present simultaneously. We also found real-world application of FBM in gamified cybersecurity tools. For example, the card game called Cybersecurity effectively implemented FBM to promote smartphone security awareness. The success of FBM in this context highlights its potential as a core framework for designing gamified interventions that aim to shift security-related behaviors. Building on this, we extended FBM by integrating other established theories such as PMT, TIM, and perceived enjoyment, which I will explain further in the next slide. Now, I will explain the components of our proposed conceptual model for gamified cybersecurity awareness. This model is grounded in the folk behavior model, or FBM, which emphasizes that behavior change only occurs when motivation, ability, and triggers are present simultaneously. To strengthen the model, we integrated additional constructs from the protection motivation theory and the technology acceptance model, which are both widely used in information security and user behavior research. Motivation is the first core factor in FBM. In this model, motivation is represented through three constructs drawn from PMT, such as perceived usefulness, perceived severity, and response efficacy. And the second component is ability, which refers to how easy it is for users to adopt secure behavior. Based on TIM, we include perceived ease of use and self-efficacy. This describes both the usability of the gamified system and the user's confidence in their ability to act securely. The third component is trigger, which prompt behavior at the right moment. We incorporate two types of triggers from FVM: spark triggers that used when ability is high but motivation is low, and the facilitator triggers that used when motivation is high but ability is low. In addition, we introduce perceived enjoyment as an external variable. This reflects the motivational role of enjoyment in gamified learning environments. Together, this model combines behavioral and psychological factors to explain how gamification can effectively support cybersecurity awareness through interactive learning experience. To wrap up this presentation, I'll briefly summarize our key findings and contributions. First, from our reviews of 61 studies, we found that the most frequently used game elements in cybersecurity education are narratives, levels, and challenges. These elements have shown strong potential in increasing learning engagement, knowledge acquisition, and technical skill development. Second, based on this insight, we proposed a conceptual model that combines the folk behavior model with construct from protection motivation theory, technology acceptance model, and perceived enjoyment. The model emphasized that motivation, ability, and the right triggers must work together to support behavioral change in cybersecurity context. However, this model is still theoretical and based only on literature from bibliometric analysis. For that reason, we recommend future studies to empirically test this model in practical learning environments and across different user groups. Overall, we believe this study contributes both a literature-based understanding and a theoretical framework for advancing gamified cybersecurity learning.